Cringe dialogue, plastic performances, wildly liberal interpretations of the source material, and a morbidly obese budget to compensate for all of it. That's right, my slop-loving little piggies. Amazon Prime's back with another season of Rings of Power. Set thousands of years before the original storyline of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, Season 1 explored brave and original concepts such as, what if girls were tougher, more capable, and more intelligent than all the patriarchal males they were surrounded by? What if we had an androgynous looks-maxing sorceress wielding the power of mewing? What if we hid the main bad guy of the entire IP in plain sight right under the audience's noses and not expect them to guess his identity immediately? What if we had dwarves that were black?
This is necessary.
We open with a shot of Mount Doom, a place that is in Middle-earth. After that, we see some behind-the-scenes footage of Charlie Vickers portraying himself during the removal of the Gorilla Glue on his wig. Then, for some reason, we see Venom. Then, we see the least threatening or intimidating female warrior in all of cinematic history, evoking memories in me of it being done much better. Next, we see some spooky butterflies. Next, we see some spooky tree roots. Next, we see some bushwalkers. Next, we see the world's worst metalworker getting arc eye. Next, we see the big glowing white orb where Charlie Vickers has to store all of his cool lines. Next, we see our very believable badass girl boss protagonist extremely convincingly riding a real horse real style. Next, we hear a sea monster roaring underwater. Next, we see a
Dwarf of colour.
Next, we see the village idiot stuck in a well. Next, we see $1 million worth of the SFX budget. Next, we see me reaching for the dislike button. Next, we see our one free clip of the day from the armory. Next, we see a reference to the first movie, but with way more unnecessary slob on my knob energy. Next, we see a reference to a line from a movie that I like. Next, we see bling. Tree! Infinity Stone. Next, we see a neat little 360 quickscope. Next, we see another $1 million from the SFX budget. Face! Face! Then at 1 minute and 15 seconds into this trailer, we see our first remotely interesting shot. A recast! Next, we see IED detection SOPs. Next, we see everyone's extremely believable, rough and tough fat little brother being totally epic. Next, we see the comments section of the trailer. Here we have Robert Aramayo ever reliably doing Robert Aramayo face. Next, we have a visual representation of the Amazon Prime budget being allocated to this show. We have another smirking Charlie Vickers shot as it finally comes out that he was Sauron this entire time, and we're only finding this out an entire season too late. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! So the big meme to have come out of this trailer as it has all come out is obviously the fact that the whole first season we painfully obvious to any viewers of the show, but still it was revealed in one of the final episodes, like this massive reveal that we had no idea of the whole time. And then, so to disguise himself, and this is one of the most powerful beings in the entire intellectual property, this is pretty much one of the most powerful beings in all of Lord of the Rings, and it's one of his core powers is that he has the power to shapeshift. He has all these different powers, and the way that he chooses to disguise himself is by growing a 5 head, putting on a wig, and getting pointy elf ears. It's like the stupidity of this show is just like on another level, and that coupled with the fact that Galadriel, in one of the last episodes of the first season, finds out that he's Sauron and just doesn't tell anyone. For some reason, she just withholds that information. So, and obviously we have some sort of situation here where he's able to just cruise through and just, like, the memes that have come out of this have just been ridiculous. Like, all of the fucking, like, the comments have just been insane. And like one of the top comments says, it is truly the bravest thing of all of this that they're leaving the comments on the trailer, because they are just getting flamed. And I can't even tell you right at this very second what the like to dislike ratio is, because it's just climbing exponentially. I'll flash it on screen right now just before I finish exporting this video, but it's going up by the hour. And it's just ridiculous. Like it's just such a failing upwards thing that they have all of this money and were able to make season 1 of this show, and it was just such an epic bomb that only the most room temperature IQ people enjoyed. Like, it was such a bastardization and a butchery of the source material. The lines and dialogue and shit. I mean, the one big one that everyone memes on that just is hard to go past is the wider rocks sink and shit, like, because of they don't look up or look down to dark. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, who the fuck is writing this shit? Like, it just such wildly liberal interpretations of the source material, such talentless, hacky writing and plot contrivances and all this sort of stuff. It's just insane. And it's like, it reminds me of this thing someone said to me years ago of, you can't polish a turd, although I'm pretty sure Mythbusters proved that wrong, but you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. And that's what this show is to a T. You have just at its core such utter bullshit, but it's being wrapped in such pretty wrapping with just millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of visual effects and the costuming and all that stuff. Like, I truly feel sorry for people that work in that side of the industry these days that are doing such good work for the most part, but it's all to wrap up and package and present this thing that at its core, it seems like the people that are making it, at the very best, disrespect the source material and don't care about it, and at the very worst, have an active dislike for it and its more traditional fan base, and the majority of what its fan base is, for that matter, as well. Like, they just, it's just like an active middle finger to them or to us the whole time. So, yeah, and it's kind of crazy that it universally was, like, critically poorly received, and they're going ahead and making another season of it. It's like, I mean, congrats, or, I mean, kudos to them for committing to the bit, I guess. But, I mean, it's an over $1 billion fucking bunch of money being thrown down the drain at this point. So it's kind of insane. And the other thing is that as soon as this trailer came out, you had stuff like Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis coming out saying that they're going to be releasing a Gollum movie. I'm pretty sure it's a movie, not a TV show. And it's just like, what is the appetite for that? Especially after something like the fucking the Lord of Ring Gollum that just came out, the video game that was... and I know it's unfair to hold them up to the standard of what that game came out as, because they had nothing to do with it. But even then, you can't turn around and go, oh, well, Andy Serkis, Peter Jackson, like, they were both involved and played a huge part in making, 3 of my favorite movies of all time. But they were also both involved of making 3 of the biggest butcheries of all time, which was The Hobbit. It was like the most bloated, overproduced fucking, like, everyone says it shouldn't have been 3 movies. Like, it's just such a waste of time and money and resources to make something that was really lackluster, and I would describe it as, like, infantile, especially when you look at those scenes. Like, I mean, the other classic one is the barrel sequence of them going down the river. Like, that seemed like it was out of a fucking Disney movie. Like, so fucking stupid and such a waste of time. So, yeah, you're caught between this weird place of them both have made something that we all, like, really love in the first 3 movies, but then coming back and sort of fucking it all up with the whole Hobbit trilogy. And you really should hold these people to whatever their most recent work is. Like, we can't just turn around and go all the time, oh, well, like, those 2 were on the... Whatever. This is turning into a tangent about the Gollum shit that's about to come out. But the thing is, the whole overarching point that I'm trying to make is just make new shit. The stuff that we've made or that we've, like, interpreted out of source material in terms of the first 3 books and all that sort of stuff, that was good. once it's done and you've done a good thing, you're never going to top that. Just do new shit. Like the fucking, like I remember when rumors of this Rings of Power show first came out, I was like, really? They're going to make a TV show of Rings of Power, of Lord of the Rings? And it's like, the first thing was, oh, well, would they even have the money or the budget to produce something that needs to be on sort of the scale and the impressiveness of what the first 3 movies were? Turns out I was totally wrong there. That wasn't the problem at all. They have, I mean, it's Amazon. They have all the money in the world to throw at it. What I should have been worried about is, do they actually have a good story to tell? Do they have a team of people that respect the source material and don't have an active dislike and hatred for the fan base? Like, it's just fucking whatever. And all of this is to say, I would love to be wrong. Having a negative preconception of something before it comes out is kind of a hater move. But the thing is, you go off their most recent work, and that's all the only conclusion you can be led to is that it's going to be shit. So, it's just, they need to just let it die. Like, leave it alone. Stop trying to fucking, like, you know, fuck the corpse of this fucking franchise and just leave it alone. We've already got all the best IP and adaptations and everything that we're going to get out of it. It's done.